Hello everyone, today is October 13th, 2010. It is about 9 o'clock in the afternoon, and today is going to be the first video breakdown that we're going to have for Western New York Weather's new YouTube site. What it's going to be here is we're just going to break down weather events such as this upcoming nor'easter that's starting tomorrow across the northeastern United States and lasting into Sunday afternoon. Now what we have going on here, this is the 12Z GFS, which is taken around noon. This is the QPF outlook, just so you can get your bearings. This is Buffalo right here, Rochester, Syracuse, New York City, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C.'s down here. Now what we're having is we're going to have the nor'easter come across the mid-Atlantic states and pull northeastward towards the New Jersey, New York border. After that, it'll travel up towards Massachusetts into the Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts border. The 12Z model is showing total QPF amounts to be anywhere on the order of a half an inch towards western New York to over 2 inches in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts. Now, for the most part, the temperatures during this event will be mild until we get on the backside of the storm, which then the temperatures will drop more towards freezing. Now at elevations above, I would say 2,000 to 3,000 feet, you can expect temperatures to be cool enough to have snow mix in, especially on the backside of the system, which will probably start sometime during the day Thursday and last into Saturday morning. Now this is the NAM 12Z QPF output. Again, here's Buffalo, here's Rochester, Syracuse, New York City, Philadelphia, and DC, Boston over here, New Hampshire and Vermont are over here. The NAM is painting about 2 to 4 inches of QPF over eastern New York State. Now, I think this is a little overdone. This just seems to be a little too much for me. I don't see this happening. I can see maybe a total of about 2 inches of QPF happening over parts of New York State, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Massachusetts, but I don't see 4 inches coming. Now what we have over here is the 850 millibar temperatures. This is the temperature at approximately 5,000 feet up in the air, so about a mile over your head. Now I know this is kind of hard to read. Again, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, New York City, Philadelphia, DC, and Boston's over here. Now I don't know if you can see this purple line that comes over here with the little 0 right there. That is the 850 millibar temperature of 0 degrees Celsius, which is also 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that is the temperature that is what allows snow to stick. Now, it doesn't mean if it's above 0 Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit that it cannot snow, but this is the temperature that snow will start to stick, especially at nighttime. During the daytime, you might get daytime heating, and the sun might melt away the snow, so you might not get any accumulation during the day. But there are mountains in the Adirondacks over here, the Catskills, and the Berkshires in Massachusetts, along with the Green and White Mountains of New Hampshire and Vermont, where the elevations are above 5,000 feet. Now it's hard considering Whiteface Mountain and Mount McKinley are the highest mountains in New York State, and those are just roughly about that 5,000 feet. But you get over towards Vermont and New Hampshire, and you have mountains that are anywhere from 5,000 to 6,000 feet, such as Mount Washington at 6,200 feet. Now this is going to be a very snowy and windy event for Mount Washington, as it will be for the entire northeast coast. The northeast coast will be experiencing strong winds of probably 30 to 40 miles an hour, with some gusts nearing 50 miles an hour, especially on the immediate coastline. Now, this is the NAM 12Z simulated radar. As you can see, this is about noon on Friday. You can see the low sitting over the Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts border right in here. And you can see a heavy band of rain coming back over upstate New York. And what it's going to happen is if you get heavy enough precipitation falling from the sky above 5,000 feet where it is snowing, and when that precipitation comes down, it will be, if it falls heavy enough, it will not have time to turn into snow. This is part of dynamic cooling. Also, the air around each snowflake and raindrop is cool. It's cooler than the air around it, so it cools the immediate air. So once it starts raining, we can see temperatures drop 5 to 10 degrees, and if we can get the precipitation to come down hard enough, we can see evaporative cooling and have snow mix in even across lower elevations below 2,000 feet. Now, this is the 12Z NAM 84-hour snowfall forecast. This is New York State right here, along with New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. Now, over the Adirondacks right in here, you could see that the NAM is painting 18 to 20 inches of snow. Now, of course, this is October. The temperatures are warm. The models are freaking out. No, this is not going to happen. Don't worry, any of you guys at Lake Placid, Saranac Lake, you're not going to get 18 to 20 inches of snow. First of all, this is 10 to 1 ratio. Now, in October, even if we were to get this much QPF and it would all fall as snow, the ratios would be closer to 5 or 6 to 1, thus cutting the snowfall totals in half, already dropping it down to 9 to 10 inches instead of 18 to 20. Now, on top of this, we're going to have daytime heating, which is cutting down on this, which is going to be melting the snow since the sun angle is going to be rather high. So what I'm going for in the Adirondacks and Catskills, I would go for maybe 1 to 2 slushy inches in the Catskills with maybe 2 to 4 inches at the highest peaks of the Adirondacks. This right here is the 18Z NAM. This is showing QPF further east into Vermont and the Green Mountains. Now this is showing about 8 to 10 inches of snow. Again, I would cut that in half only because we're in October, not January, and the snow ratios are not going to be 10 to 1. They're going to be closer to 5 to 1. And daytime heating. So I would say even if the precipitation did move further east than the 12Z NAM depicted it to be, and the heaviest QPF falls over Vermont and New Hampshire, I would still only go with 1 to 3 slushy inches of snow on the mountains of the Green and White Mountains, with possibly 4 to 5 inches at the highest peaks of the mountains in Vermont. This right here is the 12Z NAM precipitation forecast for Saranac Lake and the surrounding Adirondack region. At noon today, the models were depicting almost 0.8 of an inch of QPF falling as snow, which with a 10 to 1 ratio would be 8 inches of snow, but cut that in half, like I said many times already, so you get about 4 inches of snow in daytime heating. So if you were to take the NAM as given, 8 inches of snow, but don't do that. Now, look at the big switch already. Just in 6 hours, the model shifted a lot. Now here you have the current NAM precipitation forecast for Saranac Lake and the Adirondacks at 18Z, which was taken at 6 o'clock this evening, which is depicting less than 1/10 of an inch of QPF falling as snow, and even further less total QPF, going from 2 inches, over 2 inches, down to just over an inch. So if you were to take this verbatim, you would have less than an inch of snow, even less than 1/2 an inch of snow. Now this here is the NAM forecast precipitation type. This is a animation clip of the precipitation over the United States, and I'm going to zoom in on the northeastern United States since we're talking about a nor'easter. So I'm going to roll this. This is the 12Z model, and after this I will play the 18Z model, and you can tell the big difference of how the models switch from time to time. So yes, I think I have a forecast right now, but it is still too early to make a final call, and I will come out with another video and a final call map at a later date. Likely tomorrow around 6 o'clock in the evening to anywhere towards midnight tomorrow night. You can see the cold front coming across western New York State. Oh, there's a little error there. Again, you can see the cold front coming across New York State, lifting the low up. And here you go, you can see the snow coming into the Adirondacks and Catskills, and the lows pulling away. Now I'm going to stop this at frame 40, at 45 hours out from noon today. You can already start to see the pinks mixing in, actually dark pink, which indicates a heavy mix over the southern Adirondacks. Now we move over to 48 hours, and you start to see snow, the light blues and the dark blues. The dark blues are indicative of a heavy snow, and the dark pinks are indicative of a heavy mixture. You can start to see a little dark blue here over the Catskills, and even a little more blue over the northern Adirondacks. I'm going to go to 51 hours out, and there's even more dark blues and dark pinks. We're going to go to 54 hours out, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of snow coming down over the high mountainous regions of upstate New York. Now we're going to go to the 18Z model run, and I'm going to let this run for you, and then I'll come back and show you frame by frame. But as you can see, there's a big change, and the models move the precipitation way east, and it's not quite as cold with not nearly as much snow. And what snow does fall will be over Vermont and a bit of upstate New York, but not quite as much, and the snow looks to be much lighter. So our best bet is to go for a mixture in elevations above 1,200 feet, especially in the Adirondacks, with any elevations above about 2,400 feet receiving maybe 1 to 3 inches of snow in the Adirondacks, and you have the Green Mountains receiving 1 to 3 inches of snow, and of course the White Mountains of New Hampshire receiving 1 to 3 inches of snow, with up to 6 inches plus of snow on Mount Washington, New Hampshire. Then you got the Catskills down here with a mixture. I wouldn't go with any accumulations at this point, but I have to make a new map tonight when I see the 0Z models, and a mix over the Central Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia and Virginia. So overall, it's going to be a windy, cold, raw, wet, and in some place snowy day over western New York and the rest of the Northeast. So get prepared, keep updated, and enjoy your day.